What's up, fantasy champions? Spotlight Sports Network is excited to tell you about an amazing deal from Thrive Fantasy, your place for daily fantasy sports and esports. Right now with promo code SS Network, Thrive Fantasy will match up to $50 of your first deposit. So go to thrivefantasy.com and sign up now with promo code SS Network. That's thrivefantasy.com, promo code SS Network.
I heard they want the news. Well, we got it just for you. What's your team? Who your player? Who your crew? I heard they want the news. The spotlight is on you, and if you in the hot seat, it's times two. I heard they want the news. Come tune in to the crew, but we got the hook up just like black and blue. I heard they want the news. Spotlight Sports, what it do? Hit subscribe and that like button too. I heard they want the news.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to MK in the Morning. We got a big episode for you guys today. But first, before I forget, Spotlight Sports Network is having a deal for our merch right now from February 20th to February 22nd, where everything is 15% off. Now, the website is called spotlightsportsgear.com. You can find that link in the description below, along with everyone's links from the network in the description below. Speaking of the network, we got one of my guys on here. I can't get away from this guy. This guy can't get away from me. But I actually asked him to come on the show today. And please welcome my guy, Coach Donte. What is up, dude? How you doing?
Man, I'm good, man. After this, I got to hop right into another show. But I personally apologize to everybody if I didn't tell y'all about my auntie having surgery soon, but she told me, man, last night, keep working, man. Don't worry about it. Just you know what to do when I really, really get down. So she said, thanks for the prayers, thanks for the love. And she said, just do your thing. They the type of family, they're not gonna really stop me from doing what I gotta do as long as when they in debt, I know what I gotta do. So shout out to everybody, man, for put me in y'all thoughts and prayers, man. But she said, man, go grind, dude.
All right. Your auntie sounds like a very wonderful woman. I wish her the best and everything. I hope everything's good. And we got one guy here that he's been my best friend, one of my best friends for like 7 years now. And he gets on my nerves every single day because he thinks he's better than me and everything, which he's not. But please welcome Green Collar Tyler.
Hey, what is going on, Spotlight Network? First of all, I'd like to get a shout out to Donte's aunt. I really hope she pulls through. I hope everything goes well with her. And as to respond to you, Mitchell, I know I'm better than you in almost everything. It's not a question.
Okay. All right. But first, we just got to get it started. The hardest working man on the network. Yes, sir. That's Coach Donte.
Right
yes, sir.
Don't start that, Keith.
Don't start that. But we just got to get started here. There's been a rumor going around that Jimmy Garoppolo might get traded to the Eagles, or there's a rumor that the Eagles are going to try to get Jimmy G. And the 49ers are looking to get a second-round pick for him. So Is this a trade you guys can see Howie Roseman doing? Tyler, I'll start with you.
Honestly, I do not believe so. I think it's just not a wise move, especially if you look at past playoff performances from Jimmy Garoppolo. In fact, I'll just even compare the last playoff performance of Jimmy Garoppolo. Keep in mind, he played 3 games to Jalen Hurts 1 game. Within those 3 games, Jimmy Garoppolo managed to get a grand total of 2 touchdowns. 2. That's not even a touchdown a game. That's supposed to be coming from the star quarterback of that team. Compared to Hurts, who in his 1 game at least got a touchdown. Garoppolo threw for 3 interceptions in those 3 games. That's an interception a game. And to be quite honest, he was a hindrance to his team in all 3 of those games. In fact, they almost lost 2 of those games because of him alone, because of his poor quarterback play after the second half. I feel if there's any quarterback they should go after, it is Russell Wilson. I can get to that after we talk about this, of course, but I just do not think Jimmy G would be the smart move here in Philadelphia.
All right. Donte, how do you like that? Jimmy G to Philly, is that a trade you could see Howie Roseman doing?
I'm gonna tell you this: Howie Roseman is that crazy, and I definitely can see him do it. But if I'm telling you, I'm gonna tell you this: honest truth, I don't think it will happen because I don't think Jimmy G would want to go to Philly to be a backup quarterback anyway. So I don't see the deal happening. I just see Jimmy G want to be that starting quarterback caliber, but down the stretch. You've seen a lot in games. You can't trust Jimmy G in his decision making when he actually has to throw the ball. The San Francisco 49ers didn't really trust him throwing the ball as much. It's a reason why they used the Deebo Samuel a lot. It's a reason why they used it that running game a lot. I keep forgetting that dude that number 20, Elijah Mitchell. Yeah. It's a reason why they keep using him a lot. And when Jimmy G actually had to throw the ball in big situations, he actually turned it over. Now, that defense was so good, it bailed him out. But in the Rams game, it didn't bail him out. You saw the turnover that he had was a terrible turnover. I know you had 1 timeout left. You didn't have much time. You should have easily taken a sack right there. You still had another down to even live. You still had another down to live. And we seen, crucial plays happen at times, that 4th and 26. For Brett Favre, I believe, that 4th and 26. So again, man, I don't think it's gonna happen because I think Jimmy G wants to be a starting quarterback. I don't think he wants to end up being a backup. Howie Roseman is a type of person that would do that trade. But at the end of the day, I don't care about no goddamn Howie Roseman. I want to win football games at the end of the day.
Yeah, I can feel you the same way, but. Here's the thing, right? Jalen Hurts, we're going to get more into this in a second. Jalen Hurts has improved this year compared to last year. I think we can all agree on that, even though he did have some flaws. So, I'd rather stick with Jalen Hurts than Jimmy G. I'm being completely honest here. What I've seen him from the playoffs, I know he made it to the championship game, but that was more on the defense than Jimmy G. So I got to stick with Jalen Hurts on that. Now, speaking of Jalen Hurts, do you think it's fair that he's been getting a lot of hate based on this year because the Eagles fan base, is very toxic. So do you think it's fair that Jalen Hurts is getting this much hate? Donte, I'll start with you.
No, it's not fair that he's getting this much hate, but when you're not playing well, when you're not making throws that you should make, simple throws that you should make, and when you're not performing, that's what you're going to get. So like I say, Jalen Hurts is a tough kid. He's a tough guy. He has to be better this year. And it's a lot of pressure is going to be on him this year to decide if he's going to be a franchise quarterback. A lot of people say he's a franchise quarterback. A lot of people say he isn't. I'm one of those people. I say I don't know. We'll find out this year. I understand you can be confident in the quarterback, and we all, I'm going to support my quarterback. I'm going to support Jalen Hurts. As long as he's here, I'm going to support him. But will I go as far as say he's a franchise quarterback? I'm going to continue to say, I don't know. This is a big step and big year for him. big year for him. He got to make some of those wide open throws, and they clearly were wide open against Tampa Bay right there in front of his eyes. He definitely has trouble reading the field. You can definitely see that. That definitely was exposed in the playoffs. Like I said, I don't care about how good you are with your legs, but when playoff time, when you're playing against a great football team, playing against good football teams, they're going to take that away from you. They're going to make you throw it. And that's something Jalen Hurts cannot do right now. He cannot do it right now, and that's something he has to do in his career. If you want to be a starting quarterback in this league, you got to beat people in the pocket. Lamar Jackson doesn't know how to do that. He doesn't know how to do that either. In a playoff time, they're going to figure out a way to stop it. They're going to put QB spies on you, and they're going to stop it. Again, you've seen what we can do against tough teams this year. We haven't done. We lost every tough game. When the game is tough, we lost all. Tampa Bay, we lost to the Chiefs. We lost to the Chiefs. We lost to the Chargers. We lost every playoff literally game. And if we want to be a great team, we got to beat some of those. We got to beat some of those guys. We got to beat those playoff contending teams if we're going to call ourselves a good team. We can't be beating bombs the rest of our career, and that's going to be a knock on Jalen Hurts too. We have to beat playoff teams, and if you can't beat playoff teams, people are going to start questioning that.
Mm-hmm. Tyler, before I get into you, I just want to read this from Key real quick. This was his first year as a full-time starter. Yes, he has some flaws, and I think next year he's going to work on his accuracy. Eagles, this shit isn't. It takes time. It's not instant. It takes time, and we made it to the playoffs, but we weren't supposed to make it. So, Eagles Uncensored's best friend. How do you feel about
referring to me? Wanted to give a shout out to best friend Uncensored. Love you, bro.
But yeah, is it fair that Jalen Hurts is getting all this hate?
Yeah. So, a couple things I do want to touch on before I get to the meat and potatoes of the question at large here. First of all, Eagles fan base, I don't think it's fair to call them toxic. Okay, now I'm going to explain that in 1 second.
Okay.
So, don't get me wrong. A lot of them, they can be a little toxic, yeah. That's going to be every single fan base you have. Eagles fans, the biggest problem with them is they're impatient. They see stars, and they want them instantly to perform at the highest available level. You know, let's look at Joel Embiid. When he was here, you know, even in those games where they were getting booed at because they weren't performing, he kept saying, that's on me. It's on me. I got to get better. Because there are very few athletes at all who understand that kind of Philly mentality of what the fans want. Yeah, I see you pointing to it. But when you get a potential superstar in the making who recognizes that coming from their fans, goes, it's all me. I do need to improve. I know this, and I'm working on it. Those are the ones they love, but those are also the ones they will harp on the most because they know they can do better. Now, to answer the question that we were just talking about, listen, we don't talk about him. That is not a name we're allowed to talk about anymore. He's gone. I don't want to hear his name no more. Just like Wentz, he's gone.
We're going to bring up that.
Throw it over there. But, you know, let's look at what Jalen Hurts managed to do this year. I don't want to talk about strength of schedule. I do not want to talk about the games that we lost. I want to talk about what he managed to accomplish with the Eagles this year. With a quarterback that wasn't even on a top 40 list from one of the top NFL analysts. And a roster that was, I believe, if I remember correctly, the third or fourth overall worst roster in the entirety of the NFL.
Okay.
And yet they still made the playoffs. Wild card seed, but they still made the playoffs. That is impressive as what? That is impressive on its own right. Okay. Then we got to look at the improvements he's made from last year. Okay. Last year, I wasn't fully settled on him. I didn't really like what I was seeing on the field. Go to this year, I see a lot of promise. I see a lot of hope in the future with him. But it's just like he said, you got to let him develop. Stars cannot just instantly appear. You know, you got to give him time to develop. He knows he has what he has to work on. He keeps saying it. It's on me, Brent to do this and that. But we need to see it. We love that you're taking responsibility. We love it, but we got to see it on the field. So while I do think he will develop, and I do think he could possibly be our starting quarterback for the future, we got to see those developments. I got to see the arm strength and the accuracy be a little bit better.
Yep.
Reading the field is going to take a lot of time. Not everyone's going to be able to read the field like Brady within their first 2 to 3 years. That takes years and years of development for a lot of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that we're going to have to deal with, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, Donte, you're the college guy, right? You have Path to the Draft on the network with you and Eric. You do all that research, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've been watching Jalen Hurts at Alabama and wherever he played. Has he always been throwing like this? Has he always been making these kinds of mistakes?
It's a reason why Nick Saban moved on from him, because he couldn't get it done in the national championship game, and Tua was brought in, and Tua won the game. It clearly shows, that he has flaws of doing it, but also he has won some games because, his scrambling ability. But again, once you go up against a great team like the Georgias of the world and stuff like that, that takes that away from you. It make it difficult. Hey, that's a knock on you. And I know, like I say, like just Tyler just said, you can't just you gotta be patient with these type of guys, but at the same time, you can't make excuses for you can't. Nobody is gonna be happy with every year making it to the playoffs. You can't just say, hey, we made it to the playoffs. We made it to the playoffs. We made it to the playoffs. Nobody is not really trying to hear that. I would give him a pass this year because we really supposed to be that. But in later on in his career, nobody is going to be happy about just making it to the playoffs. You got to perform when it matters the most. You can perform in the regular season, but that goes on in any fan base. You got to perform when it matters the most. And you're definitely going to hear it if he doesn't perform. And he definitely got a lot to work on. That's why I keep my answer, I don't know. But at the same time, as well as we're going to praise him when we win, we got to hold him accountable. You can take accountability all you want to, but you got to show progress on the field. You got to show it. And it starts beating those good playoff-worthy teams, which is something that we cannot do at this point of the time. We got to do that. We got to be able to do that. And Jalen Hurts has to take that next step of beating some of these type of caliber playoff teams. So if he does, he got to improve on his accuracy in his reading defenses. Then most of those defenses they play were just basic defenses, zone defenses. You can't throw over the top that much because there's a safety over the top. So the middle of the field is wide open. Take what you can get, dump it down if you have to. Get the yards. Don't try to force it into tight coverage. He's not good enough at that right now. So he got to go in the offseason. He's got to work on it. He's got to definitely work on that. But you definitely got to be patient. It takes a quarterback at least 3 years to groom in. If he's not groomed in by time the third year, then when you have to move on from him or not. If you can trust him or not being a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, I actually do have a quick rebuttal if you don't mind, Mitchell.
Go for it.
Now, again, I definitely do not want to say I'm defending Hurts here. I definitely agree that just getting to the playoffs, just saying, hey, we made it to the playoffs this year, definitely isn't good enough. I think that's good enough this year, considering where a lot of pundits had us. We weren't even supposed to get anywhere near this postseason. We were supposed to be struggling. We were supposed to be worse than the Giants. Okay, we were supposed to be almost as bad as the freaking Jacksonville Jaguars. But yeah, we made the playoffs. That's why I harp on that topic. But one thing I do want to also bring up, and this is going to be me defending Hurts at least a little bit, is that while Hurts definitely had a lot of questionable play this season, I don't think you can necessarily put a lot of that on him, especially with a lot of this horrible play calling coming from the coaching staff. Now, I want to take into the perfect example from my end, the Carolina Panthers game. At least 2/3 of that offense in the first half of the game was nothing but little screens and bubble plays the entire time. Now, you can't expect Hurts to just all of a sudden, be able to start to learn how to read these defenses when all they're doing is these little ticky-tack plays that get blown up for like -2 yards, maybe get back to the line of scrimmage, and then all of a sudden it's 3rd and long, and it's like, oh, yep, chuck it deeper, chuck it in the midfield, try to get the first down. The biggest problem is that our coaching staff cannot call a great offensive game until they start running the ball. Once they started running the ball, they had huge success. It's the second they get away from running that ball that they have their problems. Because Hurts still needs that time to develop. He still needs those times to read these defenses, because even if it is just a basic zone defense, it's not something that this essentially a first-year guy is going to be able to read. Let's look at the number 1 draft pick from this past draft, and Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence played awful this year. He was having a hard time reading a lot of these defenses because you're going up against guys who've been playing in this league for 10+ years, 5+ years, and they have all that experience. So, again, he will struggle, and he's going to continue to struggle when it comes to reading the defenses and trying to find where to get the open man at. But I feel in the time when as long as he gets this chance to develop and he keeps trying to push himself to get better and better and better, I feel like he could be that guy.
Okay. I definitely agree with you on the coaching, because I remember when we were playing Dallas, how many times did we run the ball the first time? Was it like 2?
I think if I remember correctly, I think our running backs had 3 total runs, and our quarterback, I think, had 5.
But honestly, guys, do you really think we'd have beat Dallas? Because that offense at that point,
no, we weren't going to beat Dallas in that game.
That
first
offense
time around, no.
For Dallas was so goddamn high. I don't think if we ran the ball, it wouldn't even matter. That defense was so bad in that.
I will say this much:
first play on.
If we actually ran the ball like we did, like a good couple weeks stretch, then we might not beat Dallas, but we definitely get them more of a run for the money, like we did in the last time we faced them. Because I don't know if you guys remember this, it was a close game going into that 4th quarter. And it was just with our backups, and they were playing all their starters. So if that's what we could have done with our backups after a season of learning, imagine, especially also running the ball, imagine what we could have done with all of our starters and trying to run the ball down their throats.
No,
I actually blame that first Dallas game on coaching, because it was a stupid game plan trying to come out, and you can see it right away, and outscore Dallas. Yeah. Something that you're not going to do. That's why Jalen Hurts threw the ball over 40 times. We're not good enough to beat Dallas on just trying to go score for score. So Nick Sirianni literally came out and tried to go score for score in that, and he seen literally we already know that wasn't working. You're not going to outscore Dallas. They were too good. They were too dead. If you're trying to get into a shootout, we're not the type of team that's going to beat Dallas in a shootout. That first Dallas game, when Dallas blew the door, we didn't have a chance. Nick Sirianni actually tried to come out and outscore Dallas. He actually tried to come out and do that in the game plan. That's what the game plan was. That's why Jalen Hurts threw the ball 40 times. He literally tried to come out and have a shootout with him. And that's something we were not gonna win that game if they got into that mode.
Now, on a couple weeks ago on MK Headlines, I had Bros Media, Hunter Brody on. Great guy, shout out to him. Love his content, right? And I brought up the same question about if we had started running in like the beginning of the season. And then he brought up a good point. It was like a good learning curve for Nick Sirianni, right? Because we weren't running the ball and we were getting smacked, we were getting destroyed. And then once we started running the ball, take us to the next level, we were good, guns blazing. I feel like that was a good thing, but play calling is still going to be an issue, I feel like, with Nick Sirianni next year. There's just something about him. I'm telling you, there's something about Nick Sirianni that will go back to, like, not running the ball. We've seen it against Tampa Bay in the playoffs. Something about Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, no, you're totally right there. Like, you just brought it up yourself. It happened again when it came to Tampa Bay. You know, they just stopped running the ball. They kept trying to force a passing game that wasn't working, and we're not running the ball. And that's what frustrates me the most, because I think I even saw there was a graph that said that this was the most effective rushing attack, or I think we had the most rushing yards for an overall team, or most rushing attempts, or something like the sort. I forget exactly what the stat was. But we had one of the best rushing attacks, and something that hasn't been seen since, I believe, the 1970s, 1975, if I remember correctly, was the year.
I'm gonna say this. I don't think we could have ran the ball that game. I don't think we really could have ran the ball that game. You seen Tampa Bay come out soon the first play of the game. Devin White bust up the read option, and you can see Tampa Bay defenders coming down at the line. You can't run the ball with an 8-man ball. I'm sorry, that's just not gonna happen.
And I agree with you there. Yeah. However, what I'm going to disagree with you, though, is that I feel like instead of, trying to game plan around that and trying to, try and find ways to abuse that aggressiveness, he just kind of just went away from the run game entirely. And when you have a team that is extremely well at the run game, like our O-line is especially, you cannot afford to completely leave it alone like that. Yes, you cannot afford to do it like you were on every other team. But you definitely can use that aggressiveness against them. Run those play actions more. Try and force them so this way they're going to keep playing aggressive. You can abuse them.
Yeah, I understand, but you can't force something that's not really going to work. They had literally 9 men in the box every play, and the receivers were one-on-one the whole game. That's why the receivers was that wide open the whole game, and Jalen Hurts didn't see it. If you see a 9-man front every time, and each time the Eagles tried to run, they could not run. They could not the read option wasn't even working. That wasn't even working. So that's how Tampa Bay wasn't going to allow them to run the ball with a 9-man front. I'm telling you, they literally played man every single play and crowded the line of scrimmage. The running game wasn't working even that game. I know how much we all wanted these guys to run the ball, but when you seen Devin White and then you seen even a quarterback spot on Jalen Hurts right there in the hole, that running game was not going to be there the whole game. I don't care how many times you tried it, it was not going to be there because they had the box loaded, and you can't continue to run the ball when the box is loaded when they're already ready for it. The first play of the game and on, they literally had the box stacked every single time in one-on-one coverage, and Jalen Hurts just got to hit some of those throws. These players were wide open. Devontae Smith was wide open on a screen route across the middle. He didn't see him. He was wide open when Jamel Dean failed, and he threw across his body and reset his feet enough for Mike Edwards to come get an interception. Jalen Hurts just got to see that. The play calling was, like I say, in that game, it was just bad execution of it. The receivers, Jalen Hurts got to just see those receivers that game. I don't know if it's the play calling on that. I can't blame play calling on that. The receivers were open enough for Jalen Hurts to see. He just don't trust his arm at times. But I can't go with that because the running game was going to be stopped immediately. The running game was going to be stopped. That's why we was throwing the ball the whole game, and Jalen Hurts just have to make those wide open plays. He just have to make them. It was just too many wide open plays for him to not to make.
All right. So you brought up a good point, Donte, about his arm. Doesn't trust his arm, right? We've seen him overthrow. We've seen him underthrow. Give me a rating on a scale from 1 to 10, Jalen Hurts' arm. Like the throw, you can put in the overthrow and underthrow accuracy. Give me your rating on his throwing ability. Scale from 1 to 10. Tyler, I'll start with you.
That is a hard one for me.
Yep, I said that too.
It's very hard to describe because there just some you can just look at so many situations and just how on point it is. Like I'm gonna bring up the Carolina game again just because I got to see this live
because you were there.
I think it was I believe the third or fourth quarter. They were within their own red zone. I believe it was second or third down. And he just threw an absolute dot to Quez Watkins, I think, down to about the 10 or 15-yard line.
Yes.
I think it was like a 91-yard pass. And he just threw that absolutely, almost perfectly. But then you look at some of these other throws, and like you guys said, underthrows, overthrows. It's a big mixed bag for me, but if I had to give him a rating, I think it would be 5.5 probably.
I was going to
Probably
say
closer
6.
to 5.
I was going to say 6.
I'm gonna give his Thorn rating a 5 right there, because again, some of these throws just be kind of simple and they right there in his face. He just doesn't see them, so that's why I question his ability to have vision of the field. He has arm strength, but he doesn't have the arm talent. Like when I say arm talent, like the throw against the Giants, when Devontae Smith was wide open. Devontae Smith was wide open, but then again, you can see the safety. You can see the safety coming over.
Yeah, the safety lurking on the back.
But I'm gonna give you a catch on this. If he throws it early, Devontae Smith has it, and he has a chance to break a tackle. But if he throws it late, the safety is gonna get an interception. Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, they're gonna make that throw. They're gonna make it early. They're gonna make that throw. They're gonna see that and make that throw right then and there, and enough for Devontae Smith to catch it and make a tackle. That throw that he should have made when Devontae Smith made his guy Jamel Dean fall. If Jalen Hurts throws it early, he got him for a touchdown. But just because he moved out of the pocket and then he tried to reset, that gives a chance for the safety to come over there and make a play. So, like, again, he has some tendencies making some great throws. But again, he just doesn't have the talent. I don't think I can question his arm strength. I think he's got good strength. He just doesn't have the arm talent. He just doesn't have the talent yet. And that's something he can develop. That's something he can develop in this offseason that he has to develop. He can develop that easier.
Yep, I can definitely agree with that. The reason I've been asking, because I've been seeing a lot on social media, like his throwing ability will never be a 10. It will never be a 5. Like, I've been seeing like a 2 or a 3 on social media. Like, I don't think it will be that low. That's why I gave it a 6, and I'm being a little bit nice here because I did see him make his good throws. I did see him make good timing on passes and stuff. So that's why I have to go with the 6. So I've been thinking about this a lot recently. Maybe I brought it up to you guys earlier. Maybe I did not. But I've been thinking about Miles Sanders, right? His injuries, his ability not to be on the field, that bothers me because we're giving him a lot of money and we need you to be on that field. So, with that being said, would you trade Miles Sanders this offseason? Donte, I'll start with you.
Will you trade? If it's the right deal, I can consider him trading him if it's the right deal. But I think they should honestly, if he's a free agent, is he a free agent this year?
I think he's got one more year. I'll look it up.
So
I think he's got one more year.
If it's the right move, I think they'll consider trading him. But it depends on if they're gonna keep Jordan Howard. It depends on if they're gonna if they have a lot of faith in Kenny Gainwell. Kenny Gainwell doesn't remind me of a running back. He reminds me of a receiving type running back, and that like the creativity in the passing game a lot. He did have a couple of good runs this year, but we all know on throwing downs, Kenny Gainwell is basically a part of throwing down. So it depends on how they feel, man. How they feel about the rest of their running backs. I think Boston Scott played well when he really got in the game. When he really got opportunities. I don't know why he didn't use them like that much. He started using them a lot coming on to the end, but he should have been used a lot more. He should have been used definitely a lot more. So it depends on what kind of call they get. It depends on what kind of deal they presented to. I think they would consider putting him on the table and trading him because the best availability is availability, and you have to be healthy. When your team definitely needs you, you have to be healthy. So I factor that in a lot. If you're not on the field or if you're not playing, hey, we got to move on from you.
Tyler?
Yeah, I'm honestly going to have to almost wholeheartedly agree there with Coach Donte. As much as I like the
next
guy.
Season's his last season, by the way. Next season is his last season.
Yeah.
Or this coming season.
It's just one of those things where I like the guy. I like the guy a lot. I think he's an explosive player. He has a lot of potential. But if you can't stay on the field, you can't play. And you can have all the potential in the world, but if you can't play, there's no point. Let's look at Saquon this past season. The guy, when he's able to break out and make plays, he's one of the one of the biggest guys you can make a highlight reel out of. But for the past couple seasons, he's always injured. And you cannot get too far when your star running back is always on the injury list. Then you got to keep trying to find these other guys to try to fill those gaps. And then you got to get them those reps. And while they're starting to warm up, oh, I'm back. I'm going to start taking all those snaps again. And now I'm injured again. Now you got to go back, get them warmed up again. It's too much, especially for a team, especially during a season like the NFL, where while you may play 1 to 2 games in a week, and while on paper doesn't sound like a lot, like that is extremely stressful and a whole lot for these guys to have to go through these practices and are going through all these exercises and whatnot to try and keep themselves in shape and tip-top form. However, if he's only got 1 year left, it's got to be a good deal, because if it's not a good deal, you might as well hold on to him and then treat him as like your second back. I would love to see Jordan Howard. If I remember correctly, I believe we still have Kerryon Johnson on the practice squad. Correct me if I'm wrong, Donte.
No, I think they cut him.
But that dude is a very good back when he's on the field. The problem is Kerryon Johnson is never on the field either. Yeah. He's always hurt too. So
that's why I thought they re-signed him again at one point.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm like Tyler. And that's why I talked to like how I was. But I like the running back. I like Kenny Gainwell. I think he got all the intangibles to become a top 5, top 10 running back in the league. But if you can't stay on that field, man, that's going to be hard for people in GMs and stuff to evaluate how really good you are. We know how good you are when you're on the field, but the problem is you're never on the field. You're just never on the field. Your potential is very, very good, enough to be a star in the league. But if you're not on the field, that's hard to evaluate.
Yeah, absolutely right. Then it's also another thing is like our running back room is honestly really crowded as it is, especially if we're going to re-sign Jordan Howard, which I wholeheartedly believe we should. The guy was balling out when he was playing this past season. And I've just always loved those physical running backs, the ones where you can have them run up the gut and they'll get you 5-7 yards on those runs up the middle. Those physical guys that can get into those trenches and force the space, and then you can have your agile guys run the outside, make those open plays in there. But it's just, like when we signed LeGarrette Blount back when we made that Super Bowl run, I was so excited because I love the way LeGarrette Blount plays. He's a physical back, but he still had the speed to back it up. And if you got near him, shove you right aside, and I'm going to keep going. I think Jordan Howard's the closest we're going to get to that kind of back again.
Hey, Earl, thank you for coming on, man. Really appreciate you coming. Very nice. So, I've been hearing that Leonard Fournette is a free agent. So, would you go after him? Because I would love to have Leonard Fournette and like a Kenneth Gainwell to my backfield.
I wouldn't be opposed to getting Leonard Fournette, but like I just said, like our running back room is still pretty crowded, and with a lot of uncertainties with it right now, while I think Leonard Fournette could be a good option for it, what is it going to cost to get him here in Philadelphia? Because you got to keep in mind, with free agency looming over, we still need to get a second number 2 wideout, or if we get one of the high-end wideouts, the brand new number 1 to play alongside Devonta Smith. We still got to worry about a couple other things, like, some of the guys who are out of contract this year, like Steven Nelson. Do they re-sign him? There's still a lot of intangibles of free agency, and I think that there's some more core positions they need to focus before they can start going for luxury pickups like Leonard Fournette or things of the sort.
Donte, would you go after Leonard Fournette? Because I think that would be a great addition.
I understand, but like you still got a deep running back room too. To what much, even if you lose, even if you planning on moving on from Miles Sanders, you got to have a plan in mind. Each time you move on from somebody, if it's a coach being fired or if you're gonna move on from somebody, you gotta you gotta have a plan in mind on what this player. Hey, we're gonna go out after this player. We think this player is better. We're gonna move. If you're gonna move on, you definitely gotta have a plan. If you're gonna move on from Miles Sanders, why not keep Jordan Howard in Boston Scott in the room? They're very good enough. They've shown they can run the football in good situations. Boston Scott just don't get enough reps. He should be on the field at times. He should be on the field. The times that he was on the field, he's been unstoppable. In the times that Miles Sanders was out this year, Jordan Howard and Boston Scott were unstoppable. He still could not be stopped as a running game. So if you're planning on moving on for Miles Sanders, then hey, you got your two good running backs right there, and you got Kenny Gainwell you can definitely use in the backfield. So it's no need to go out there and get a Leonard Fournette right there. And again, you got other holes you need to fill as well. You may need a veteran wide receiver. Allen Robinson will be on the board. You will have Mike Williams. But the question about Mike Williams, can he stay healthy? He was healthy this year, fair enough this year. So that's a good plus. Devontae Adams, I think they're going to franchise tag him. I think Green Bay, honestly, that's going to be the fair.
I'd be more surprised if they could afford to do that.
Yep. And I think they're going to find a way to even do that. I think they're going to find a way to keep him. But, But if you strike out in free agency on a receiver, you got to get one in the draft. If you strike out in free agency on a receiver, you got to get one in the draft. Just simple as that. So it depends on what you got out there. But I would definitely, if you definitely lose Miles Sanders, I would definitely have to go with Kenny Gainwell. I would definitely have to go with Kenny Gainwell, Miles Sanders, Kenny Gainwell, and Jordan Howard and Boston Scott. And I would not entertain that for Fournette because I think you got a deep enough room. You got a deep enough room to go with if you lose a player like Miles Sanders. You don't want to lose a player like that. But again, like Tyler said, if you're not on the field, hey, that goes for anybody. If you're not on the field, you can't help us out. And I believe we got the running back core that could still help us out. So we're going to be too deep at the running back core just to get a, just to get a Leonard Fournette. We're too deep at that right now.
You guys watching the Elimination Chamber today? I am for the network. I have to with the network. So it's me, Goolie, Darian. I think Key's going to be on it as well. So that's going to be.
Making it sound like a punishment there, bud. It's the Elimination Chamber.
Shut up.
Everybody loves the Elimination Chamber. Ooh, maybe there'll be another Punjabi prison match too.
I might be on now chilling in the backstage.
Okay.
I'm going to watch that on my phone.
Tyler, stop talking.
You mean you don't miss the Punjabi prison match? I love the Punjabi prison match.
You know what? Since we're talking wrestling, why the hell not? Undertaker going to Hall of Fame.
Woo!
I loved it. Tyler, give me your thoughts on that.
I mean, I'm surprised it took this long for it to happen. The guy is not only an icon in wrestling, but honestly an icon in
Max in the building.
Media in general.
Max in the building.
What's up, Max? How you doing?
Yeah, like the guy, like even people who didn't watch wrestling still know who he is because he's just that big of an icon. The guy's was honing and perfecting his craft for decades upon decades. He literally did out of the line as much as he could every single match. It's deserved.
I mean, Undertaker definitely deserves it. I mean, one of the greatest legends that I looked up to in the era with The Rock, Stone Cold, has some great performances. Who can forget about the Hell in a Cell match when he threw Mankind off of the cell? Who can forget about that? That's iconic, definitely. The Shawn Michaels and him when he was beating the hell out of Shawn Michaels and Kane came out and broke the cage door and helped him out. Pretty much helped. He beat Kane. Yeah. He pretty much faced him down the stretch. He beat Kane when his little brother could never beat him. That's one thing. His little brother will always have the advantage in the Raw and SmackDown shows, but on the pay-per-views, Undertaker will always find a way to come through. This man wrestled even when he had broken bones in his face, and he was well respected by many other wrestling superstars. And again, the 2000 Hell in a Cell match, the first ever, 6-man Hell in a Cell match when he threw Rikishi off the cell onto the back of the truck of hay. Hey, man, all of that was fun, man. Like I say, back in that era, all of that was fun. And the Stone Cold, the Stone Cold rivalry and stuff like that, the Stone Cold rivalry and all of that, the ECW alliance when him and his brother won the tag team championships. And, and the heel Undertaker. The heel Undertaker was vicious. He was vicious, taking out everybody and hurting everybody. That was fun. He's definitely a legend in this game, man.
Yeah.
Actually, one thing I do want to bring up just super briefly, just because it's something I saw that was funny on Twitter the other day. Did you guys see that Undertaker was actually trending just a couple of days ago? Because somebody tweeted out, what is the biggest threat to mankind?
Oh.
And people just kept replying, The Undertaker.
No. That's hilarious.
I know.
But enough wrestling talk. I gotta bring this up because I got to talk about my Sixers, man. I know it's halfway season. The All-Star weekend is tonight. I might be going live for the dunk contest and all that stuff. So I just gotta say this: James Harden's a Sixer, right? How do you feel about it, Tyler? Your thoughts?
I mean, I know I've talked to you about this before. I feel like the team's definitely been needing help with that, just trying to get the heat off of Embiid so much. The guy's as much of a monster as Embiid is, and as much as he can be a one-man team when he has to be, we also got to keep in mind the longevity of that. You cannot continuously do that for long periods of time. You got to give him support, and I think this is a great move by Daryl Morey. And I also like the fact that a lot of people won't even bring this up. Pascal Siakam coming here to Philly as well. Great pickup as well.
We didn't pick up Siakam.
Oh, no, it wasn't Siakam. Oh, my God. No, who was it?
Who are you talking about? We only got...
There was another piece in the Harden trade that we got.
Millsap.
Millsap, yes. I don't know why I thought Pascal Siakam.
Well,
Pascal in my mind for some reason, but Paul Millsap, Paul Millsap's another great player to pick up in that trade, especially when you're trading off a guy who hasn't played a game of basketball in a year? A little bit over a year now?
Millsap is just, he's one of those veterans that's a great leader in the locker room that would take a step back. So he's our backup 5. I still don't like that. We need to go out somewhere in the buyout market. We need to get somebody. If that's a Robin Lopez, I don't want Robin Lopez.
I totally agree with you there. I'm not saying that it's a complete trade, that it fills everything we need, but I definitely like Millsap. I do believe that, especially after having to deal with that turmoil of the Ben Simmons drama in the locker room, I think having a guy like him to be that locker room leader and trying to help, line up the group, especially after a couple of tough losses in recent memory. Definitely looking more towards the Celtics game where we got absolutely battered in. A guy like that in the locker room is going to be huge. Help raise those spirits up again, help the team bond even more. And then Harden. The dude's just a baller, man. I mean, he's just so good at what he does. One of the best three-point shooters in the league, in my opinion. And with him next to Embiid, it's just going to open up the court for him to just devour these defenses even more than he already has.
I can agree with that. I love everything you just said. But here's the thing, Donte, you brought this up on JC Sports Talk. Man, that's going to be weird to say instead of JC Eagles Talk. But you brought this up last night. James Harden is a guy that can quit on you at any moment. You're a Rockets fan. You've seen it happen. We've seen it happen with Brooklyn. Is this move, James Harden, I don't believe he's going to quit on the Sixers because he wanted to go there ever since Houston. He didn't even want to go to Brooklyn. So, do you still think there is a chance that James Harden will quit on the Sixers?
if everything's don't break right, I still think it's a chance because it's his resume right now. He's showing potential. If it doesn't break right, he could, but like I say, I don't know if he will because again, he's with Daryl Morey. He's been with Daryl Morey for like 11 plus years. And I don't like I say again, everything has to break right. And I'm gonna say it again, and you heard me say it on numerous occasions. James Harden, this is a good trade for both teams. I think both teams got what they wanted. I'm not gonna say it's not going to work. We just have to find out. A lot of people say it's not going to work. I'm not one of those people. I'm just gonna say I don't know. Let's see what's gonna happen. But if you go back to the last opportunities that big man that he had in Houston, Dwight Howard was brought there to be second fiddle. Kevin McHale, I think everybody know Kevin McHale, the great Boston Celtic, the great best post player, one of the best post players in the game. When he was the head coach for the Houston Rockets, Dwight Howard got a lot of touches. He got a lot of touches. Now, after he got canned, JB Bickerstaff became the head coach, interim head coach. So he started playing everything through James Harden, pick and roll. And Dwight Howard never was a post player in his career, but he's a above the rim type of guy. And Dwight Howard did not like that. He thought he was brought there to get a lot of touches. No, he was brought there to be second fiddle because James Harden was the man in Houston. So Dwight didn't like the pick and roll. And that's the reason why his ass was gone out of LA the very next year, because he didn't like the pick and roll. If Steve Nash gets under your skin about he won't do the pick and roll, then you got a problem. That shows the ego problem of Dwight Howard. Then Dwight Howard didn't want to be second fiddle to James Harden. He didn't want to be second fiddle to him. So Clint Capella, that works easier for James Harden. Pick and roll, someone that doesn't ask for the basketball a lot. You either stash back on the alley-oop. James Harden has a layup. You either come up on James Harden, you got an easy, wide open dunk. But for Joel Embiid, that is different because he needs the ball in the post. He can do pick and pop, pick and roll. He can do it both. But that is Joel Embiid team. And James Harden has to realize that you're brought there to be second fiddle to Joel Embiid, to take a lot of pressure off Joel Embiid and be that secondary scorer. I don't know if that will fit well with James Harden because he's not used to giving up the ball. He used to be in first fiddle. So he has to realize that. But I think he will because Daryl Morey trusts in James Harden. He believes in James Harden, and he believes it will work. I don't know if it'll work, but it has all of the intangibles to work if James Harden willing to accept that. It's a reason why he opted back out of into his contract to stay. Daryl Morey is going to sign that guy next year. He's definitely going to sign James Harden next year because that's how type of relationship he was. But James Harden got to realize this is Joel Embiid's team. He's going to need the ball in the post. He's going to definitely need the ball. It has all intangibles to work, but what I don't know if it will work. But that's James Harden definitely has when things don't go right, he definitely has he definitely can quit if everything's don't go right. But with Daryl Morey, I think James Harden will be happy. I think he would definitely be happy.
Yeah. So really quick, I was watching this YouTuber's live stream last night, and it got me thinking. James Harden and Allen Iverson, right? He said that James Harden's already better because of career-wise and everything. Now, to me, I got to still go Allen Iverson here. And there were people saying that James Harden's one of the best Sixers already without even lacing up his sneakers or Jordans or whatever. Do you guys see James Harden better in AI and one of the best Sixers already?
No.
Because to me, I can't see it.
No.
What? People cannot be saying that. There's no.
I'm not believing that because I'm not believing that. But he has had a better career than Allen Iverson. He has had a better career than Allen Iverson. So I would give him that. But saying that he's better than Allen Iverson in Philly, no. He has had a better career than Allen Iverson, though. I would give him that NBA Finals appearance when he was younger. He does have 2 Western Conference Finals appearances. He does have consistent playoff appearances. So I would give him better career, but not better in Philly. Not better in Philly, man.
Yeah, I agree with you guys 1,000%. But it just got me thinking because whenever you rank the top shooting guards in the NBA of all time, people have Iverson there, of course, and people have James Harden right underneath them at like 5. So, Tyler, I know you feel the same way, but give me your take on it.
I just can't truly believe people are actually saying that. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'll even just say, Coach Donte's key. I will say Harden has a better overall career than AI did. I feel like AI's had a lot worse teams than Harden has, but I digress.
Yeah.
But to say that this man who hasn't even played a game yet in Philly is already better than, honestly, like, and I say this all the fucking time, he is the embodiment of Philadelphia itself.
I wasn't just talking about AI when I said one of the best Sixers
You're
of
talking
all
about
time.
just in general, like, and also like one of the greatest Sixers of all time. You can't say that. Let the guy lace up, let him prove his worth to the team, and let him prove his worth to Philadelphia. But you cannot blow that out of proportion. I'm as happy that he's in Philly as everybody else is. Let's cool off a little bit now.
Yeah,
We don't need
this
to be
guy
going
who I watched
that far with it right now.
That guy who I watched from time to time, he has some controversial takes, and most of the time I disagree with this guy says. But it just got me thinking. It did. I'm not going to be wrong. And obviously, I thought AI right off the gate, but it was just like it got me thinking a little bit. My nickname for Tyrese Maxey is Tyrese Maxey. That is a good point. I like that a lot.
Iverson.
I like that a lot. But really quick,
TMI, I like it.
Yeah. Oh my God. But right now, the Sixers are like in a 3rd seed, 4th seed. Right now. Do you see us going to the 1st seed with Allen Iverson? I mean,
with Alvin, I definitely says going to the 1st seed with Allen Iverson.
I mean, James Harden. Do you see us going to the 1st seed with James Harden with the Bucks there? The Nets are in 8th. With the Bulls, there's a lot of teams up there. The Heat. So do you see the Sixers overtaking that 1st seed this season?
I'll let you start, Donte.
I can see it. That remains to be seen. I can definitely see. I think y'all got the team to do it. But 1st seed, I mean, it's easily to say what seeding you want to get, or you can get the 1st seed. But at the end of the day, it's playoff. It won't matter if you're the 1st seed. You got to go into the playoffs and perform. So I can see him overtaking the 1st seed. But yeah, it doesn't matter. 1st seed doesn't really mean nothing in the playoffs. A home court advantage doesn't really mean anything in the playoffs. You still can lose on your home court.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
I can see it.
Yeah, we're 2.5 games back. Thank you. We're 2.5 games back.
It's
Tyler?
It's definitely possible. It's a very reachable goal. We already seen that Embiid, with just Embiid alone, like they can topple great teams just like the Bucks, who have their own massive freaking Giannis.
Yeah, I mean, you still got the Bucks, you still got Miami Heat.
Miami Heat as well. Yep. Like, there's definitely going to be a good. There's definitely going to be a good chance they can do it. It's just going to come down to performance and execution. No, if players don't show up and they don't execute, then it doesn't mean anything. You could be the 8th seed and still make the finals, but because you have to be able to go out there, you got to be able to perform.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. And with that being said, we're about to close on MK in the morning right now. This was a very good show. A lot of good debates. A lot of good questions were asked and got us thinking. So, Tyler, this was your first time on the Spotlight Sports Network. So let the people know where they can find you at.
All righty. Well, you lovely people can find me at Green Collar Tyler right here on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter at Tyler Schlendorn. That's spelled SCHLOENDORN.
All right, sounds good. To the Knicks, or the Nets the Knicks are done. I'm just being honest here, Earl. I know you're a wholehearted Knicks fan, but yeah, guys.
I should have blown a 48-point lead.
Yeah, we're not talking about that. But yeah, just a quick reminder: the Spotlight Sports Network is going to have a deal for our merch on SpotlightSportsGear.com. 15% off from the 20th to the 22nd. So please get your merch down there. And yeah, we're going to have a college sports show right now. So thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you later on for the Elimination Chamber. Oh boy. And yeah, guys, we'll catch you all later. Peace.